chapel is a one-of-a-kind ministry. It is probably the most impactful and profound ministry I have personally been a part of.
It consists of a building on the boardwalk in Wildwood. It's nestled in between pizza shops, tattoo parlors, and amusement rides.
It's a place where high school students and college students can come to learn to share the gospel and to perform music, skits, and even preach for people who've never heard the gospel before.
It's a ministry to train and equip the next generation of believers in what is the gospel and how do you share it.
The mission and vision of the chapel is really to assist the church in the Great Commission.
We seek to accomplish that by training young people and groups in evangelism and apologetics, both in a classroom setting and then using the boardwalk as our laboratory.
Sometimes it feels like a lot like a beehive. I mean, you just look around the chapel for a couple of minutes and this team's preparing a meal for dozens of people, and this guy's writing his 5th sermon for our evening program, and on the other side of the room you have a seasoned man teaching apologetics, and a couple of young musicians are tuning their instruments for leading us in worship, and the whole time people are taking turns engaging passers-by with the gospel. And it really is an incredible place.
So we have a summer staff of anywhere from 25 to 40 people. And then every week we have church groups from all over the country that come. Most of them bring their high school youth to be trained in evangelism and to take part in a kind of evangelistic missions week.
We have not only a classroom lecture setting, but also a laboratory out on the boardwalk.
If you want to learn how to fish for men, it's helpful to have a well-stocked pond of people that need the gospel. And so here at the boardwalk, you only have to cast your hook out for a couple of minutes and you're already, boom, right in a gospel conversation right from the start.
So I think the evangelism training at the chapel has made me realize that apologetics is such an important tool for the evangelist. So when you meet people of diverse backgrounds, religions, cultures, they all have different and unique questions about the Christian faith. And so as a Christian, we need to be ready to confront each of those worldviews and to defend our faith in diverse ways.
Before coming to the chapel, I would never have pictured myself or imagined myself sharing the gospel with complete strangers, but being here has really grown me a lot.
The more I come, the more I learn, and the greater I feel equipped to take the gospel and boldly proclaim it with my friends or with my co-workers that aren't Christian.
When churches bring their groups, they leave with a new vision for evangelism and a new desire to share Christ with the lost and an increased confidence in how to do that. If I was to summarize staff life at the chapel, it would be Christian community on mission.
You don't normally throw 30 strangers into 2 houses and then try to tell them to be friends, and yet the second we walk through those doors, we're family.
You've got 30, 40 people living together, praying together, working together for the same objective, and that is reaching lost people with the gospel.
So the Boardwalk Chapel program is a moment each night where we come together as a staff and the visiting youth group to perform songs, skits, and to hear gospel moments being preached from the pulpit. And the purpose of the program is twofold. It is to refresh and remind the chapel staff and the current youth group of the truths that they already know from God's Word. But it's also to attract and invite people off the boardwalk so that they can hear the gospel.
And then after our programs, we send out teams on the boardwalk who go out up and down the boardwalk, having evangelistic conversations and sharing the gospel with the many thousands of people who are on the boardwalk. Christians should evangelize because Jesus told us to make disciples of all the nations. Not every Christian is called to be an evangelist, but every Christian is called to evangelize and to be ready to give a reason for the hope that is within us.
So I've seen firsthand how it can really transform the culture of a church when a group comes back with this kind of zeal.
Sharing the gospel is the most important work we can do.
I think when people hear about the work of the chapel, the thought of going, spending a summer or even a week at an evangelism ministry strikes fear in the hearts of a lot of Christians. That's precisely the kind of person that the chapel is so good for.
Every time I come to the chapel, I'm really refueled in my passion to evangelize, because I think that evangelism is one of those things that's better caught than taught. It's a rare opportunity to catch this kind of concentrated dose of fellowship and of prayer and of evangelistic training, and you won't be disappointed.
Most people who come say it's been a life-changing experience. It's a great opportunity to develop gifts and abilities and to just experience Christian community in a way that's hard to mimic in other settings.
Come to the chapel and you will be strengthened in your faith. You might find it even life-changing.